is 7 News at noon.
Off the top here at noon, first responders out in full force. Crews making rescues since the overnight hours after Helene made landfall last night as a Category 4 hurricane.
Crews dealing with both floods and flames, like at this home near Tampa, water rising from below, a fire burning above.
Lightning strikes causing power lines and transformers to spark. Millions left without power in Helene's wake.
And the city of Atlanta under a flash flood emergency until the end of the hour.
A live look now at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Flags flapping and waves crashing. The system still causing problems as it moves north. Good afternoon. Helene proving vicious and deadly. The storm blamed for more than a dozen deaths, including a first responder in Georgia.
We have extensive team coverage this noon. We begin with 7's Nicole Ensalada live in Perry, a community that got the full brunt of impact. Nicole.
Well, they absolutely did. And you know, this is not for the first time. They have had 3 storms since last year. But let's show you a little bit of the latest one. We are on one of the main streets here in Perry, and you can see in this motel, all right, you see what looks like an awning that's down, right? The gutter broken. But take a look when you go further down and you get the full picture. This entire awning came down. I spoke off camera to a gentleman here. He said no one was hurt, thankfully, but look at that. Let's go ahead and show you some video. Here in Perry, we're going to show you first a house that had a tree come down, and tree damages, that's what you see most of around here. Not only did it come down very close to the house, but also pulled down power lines. Fortunately, though, it spared the house. And we can go to our next piece of video, just more damage, this time a store that actually has been shut down for a while, but the folks still own it. They've owned it for decades, and they have tried very hard to make sure that everything, stays the way it's supposed to be, and to make sure it was secured. But boy, a whole wall, cinder blocks came right in, and the roof came down as well. Folks, early this morning, though, also reflecting on how it all went last night.
It was rough. It was very windy. Everything was just moving everywhere.
Just a lot of wind. You could hear the trees snapping outside and rain going really crazy. I lost my whole house in Idalia. I had 2 big pine trees go down through the whole thing, so.
And here you guys are again.
Oh yeah, one after the next.
One after the next, and that is how the folks in Cedar Key feel as well. I think we've got that Cedar Key video to show you. It just, that's a community that's about maybe 2 hours from here on the coast, southwest of Gainesville. And boy, did they get some storm surge last night, and they were kind of expecting it. It's happened before, just like here with Adalia and with Debbie, but they feared this one might be worse, and so they have a lot that they need to try to go through as well to try to fix if they can. Let's come back out here live to Taylor County, to Perry, and we are about 10 miles from where landfall actually happened. You can see what it looks like here against the building here at this motel. Just debris everywhere, but fortunately, this actually could have been a lot worse if any of these folks had been outside and been hit by this. The building itself appears to be intact, but once again, same thing. 3 storms since last year, and you talk to folks and they say all we can do is just keep cleaning up, try to secure our property, and it's about the best we can do. Reporting live in Perry, Nicole Ensalada, 7 News.
Yeah, heartbreaking images just like the ones Nicole was just showing us coming in from all across the state. 7's Maricela Burgos live in the Satellite Center to continue our team coverage. Maricela?
Ethan, the damage from this hurricane is wide. State officials warned Floridians that was going to happen, but still, the amount of water that flooded communities is devastating for many families. Families across Florida are dealing with major flooding from historic storm surge after Hurricane Helene moved through the Sunshine State.
We had people who decided to stay last night, and they regretted that because I was getting calls from several of them saying water's never threatened my home. It's at my doorstep.
Cell phone video shows rescue crews in Clearwater walking through water up to their waist, carrying homeowners to safety. They experienced record storm surge that nearly doubled from previous storms.
That caught a lot of folks, old timers who have lived on Clearwater Beach by surprise, really throughout our Tampa Bay region, throughout our islands along Tampa Bay.
The videos are shocking and the damage will be extensive to several counties. First responders in South Pasadena, a community west of St. Petersburg, Florida, dealt with rough waters, debris floating in the floodwaters, and house fires. In Pasco County, which is the county north of Tampa, officials with the sheriff's office say they rescued roughly 200 people from rising water overnight. In Lee County, body camera video shows the sheriff's office Marine unit rescuing a man in Fort Myers Beach. We know deputies used swamp buggies. In Tampa, this is an aerial view today of the issues there. Flooding makes it hard to distinguish between the Bay and Davis Islands, which is right next to downtown Tampa. The mayor says the National Guard is helping with rescues in their community. And check out this video of the causeway going into Treasure Island, Florida. It's a beach community west of St. Pete. You can see large boats that flooding carried and slammed up against homes. Governor Ron DeSantis credited first responders for responding quickly, helping save lives throughout the state.
I just want to thank everybody who midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. were out there rescuing folks. This is not something that's easy. The conditions were still very problematic in many respects up and down the state. And yet we had our folks respond, and we said that this would be what would happen, because that's just kind of what we do here in Florida, but yet a lot of folks that made a big difference.
The impact of this hurricane is massive, and there will be plenty of damage for families to clean up. While Helene made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane along the Big Bend area, it is clear many counties were not spared.
And being, over 100 miles away from the center of the storm, that was kind of unbelievable that we'd have the kind of impact we did here last night.
And Governor Ron DeSantis says several bridges in the Tampa Bay area are going to be inspected first before they're reopened. In the Satellite Center, Maricela Burgos, 7 News.
All right, Maricela, now that the storm has moved on to other states, we're learning nearly a dozen people have died in Georgia. 7 Tavares Jones is live at the Newsplex with the latest. Tavares.
Yeah, Lorraine, as you said, sheer devastation and tragedy coming out of Georgia this noon hour. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp giving an update here just moments ago. The southern part of the state, he says, seen a Category 2 hurricane. The state reporting 11 confirmed storm-related deaths. One of those deaths, as we talked about earlier, is that of a first responder, a firefighter in Blackshear, Georgia, about 90 minutes north of Jacksonville, was trying to save other people when they say a tree fell on his truck, killing him there on the scene. Meantime, hundreds of structures also damaged across the state. Roughly 1,100 people in shelters right now. We're told one of those shelters even lost its roof. New video in the Newsplex at this noon hour shows the aftermath of some of this storm surge and stuff out of Atlanta, in a neighborhood. You can see how roads have turned into complete rivers from this excessive flooding. Cars completely submerged underwater as some residents are trying to navigate and walk through those floodwaters. And this does not appear to be letting up anytime soon. Now, also some heart-stopping video out of Metro Atlanta. This is happening in the city's Buckhead section this morning, where a woman and her baby were rescued from those floodwaters created by the heavy rain from Helene. This woman literally strapping her infant to her chest as she tried to navigate that water to be rescued. Her dog also in tow. Atlanta fire crews also rescuing another man and 2 more dogs in a raft as they were pulled to safety. We're now hearing from battalion chief in the area with Atlanta Fire. Take a listen.
We've been doing water rescues all night, and with this one, the vehicle was traveling in through the water, and the vehicle started to float, and it floated off the roadway. They were able to get out of the vehicle and get on top of the vehicle. Once they got on top of the vehicle and we arrived, we were able to hook up a system to where we could lower the boat over to them because the current is very strong.
And from Georgia to the Carolinas, this video coming out of the city of Asheville, North Carolina, showing the choppy, fast-flowing water as it flows under a bridge there as rain continues to fall. Also some damage to homes, trees falling onto several structures. It is also reported that people could be still trapped inside of these homes. Officials confirming at least 4 storm-related deaths in the state of North Carolina at this noon hour. Another concern for officials there, potential for landslides. As you know, several reporters are on the ground across several states. In Asheville, one of those reporters giving us a first-hand account of what she's seeing on the ground.
all of this flood water has to go back into, will go back into the rivers and the streams and continue to swell the banks. So look right over here, just incredible imagery. This is maybe a power pole right here, a metal barrel down that way. And by the way, Pam, inside this brick building, there is a man there that I saw him speaking on the phone, perhaps looking a little bit distressed, gave him the thumbs up. He said he's okay, but I would think that he's stuck in there.